Hello there. It's me again. If you don't know who I am, or where have you been all your life, my name is Quillen Alexander James Hall. That's actually my name. So boring last name, middling first two names, and then my first name is just the wildest thing you can possibly think of. If my hair's looking a bit greasy, like John Travolta in Pulp Fiction esque, I swear it's not just because I haven't showered in ages. It's actually also because I got this aloe vera gel, which may or may not actually be helping my dandruff. It specifies in small letters that it's non-toxic, which is good because whenever you get anything that looks like a greenish gel, you have a vague suspicion that it's radioactive. So I'm glad that they gave me my peace of mind on that one. This video is a bit of a hot take. Once I get my editing down, things like that are gonna be better moments. But the take is, and you already know from the title, is that we're not living in hell. Actually, the actually part I chucked in there because people seem to be chucking that on the end of their hot take, disagreeing with the mainstream videos lately. I'm not super a fan of it. I don't love it, but I do love it for them. I love that for them. And so I'm going to kick it off with a story, all right? When I was about 13 or 14, the thing that was all the rage for kids around that age to be doing was being emo. So emo's kind of come back now. I've heard people talk about Midwest emo and stuff like that. But for the younger generation who might be watching this, like under, early 20s, for us growing up, emo it was just all about being very sad and very mop toppy. Let's put it that way. It's just that like fringe over the face thing. So I know there's still the sad thing, sad boy, etc. But I feel like emo's kind of sharpened its look up, and it did a lot when My Chemical Romance kind of hit the scene, and then it started to be kind of cool and sexy. And I think the sexiness of it was part of what attracted a lot of teenage boys and girls to it, is sort of dark sexiness, right? That was also coming through in the culture with stuff like Twilight. And I was a drama kid for a little while. Like there was a short phase where I was experimenting with that as being my thing, which you can see now is still coming through with this YouTube channel. And I devised this emo character. It's something I'm pretty good at doing, of sort of being able to capture the essence of certain characters and then really bring them to ridiculous manifestation, right? So sort of tasteless, but still insightful, right? A little bit South Park-esque. So I could do that from a fairly young age. And I was this, I really embodied that sad boy very well. And the tragic thing about that was that it was well received by people. And so, as we all know, adolescence is a time in which you are beginning to cultivate an affectation that society is willing to accept as you move forward into adulthood. And so that's what I did. I got really good at being this emo character, and then the emo character sort of took me over, and it made me genuinely depressed, genuinely an outsider, peculiarly. And I think people who knew me before could see that it was like an issue. And people like my parents who didn't have the context, I think they just thought it was a phase or something. And so I guess the moral of that story is that sometimes when you say things enough, you're surrounded by a culture enough, you actually start to become that thing, even if you're satirizing it. Like in the case of Poe's Law. I'm rabbiting on a little bit here, so I'm going to try and tighten it up a bit. So the So this idea that we're living in hell now is coming around a lot. It's sort of making the rounds on the internet. There's actually a channel literally called We're in Hell. And it's a bit of a meme, but you can see where I'm going with this. The emo thing was a meme too, but it was a meme that really did fuck people's mentalities up in a big way. It was a thing that was like a really grim reality to accept. And so whatever social validation you might have been promised in exchange for accepting that into your heart and soul was not a good deal, and it's not a good deal now, and mostly because it's wrong. So now we're gonna get. This is where I want people to get ready to do the hate comment. If you want to do a comment that's telling me how I'm a dummy, and I don't know anything about shit, I don't know snakes from dildos, I welcome that. Because I know it's cheaper than therapy. It's much cheaper than therapy. It's free. And I want to help you however I can, okay? You personally, who's watching this, I want to help you. So if the only way I can help you is for you to, take a dump on me in the comments, then go for it. But let's think about hell, okay? So hell is not just bad in some places. It's not just some people are suffering in hell. It's that everybody is suffering in hell, and everywhere you go in hell, there's only suffering. Now that is the Tartarus version of hell. If we're going to break it down into like the ancient Greek thing, there was also another kind of hell called Hades, which was more like this sort of shadowy underworld place. But I think it's fair to say when we say we're in hell, hell is just torment as far as the eye can see, okay? So I'm not denying that there are times and places on earth that are mostly terrible, but that doesn't mean everywhere is bad all the time, okay? It doesn't mean that. Likewise, you personally might have had a very hard go in life. So if you're, wandering around in Wastelandville and your whole family got killed by the mafia, and then you got a new family who you didn't like very much, but then they got killed by an asteroid, and then you got dick cancer of the universe. And whatever, and everything's just bad all the time. Okay, that is also rough. But again, it's not hell all the time. Now that one's that's a trickier one, right? A personal hell. Because you can make another argument, which is that our neurochemistry makes it hell, or our essence makes it hell, which is sort of a Buddhist idea. That life is suffering, not because the cosmos is innately a certain way, but because we're a certain way. So we can never really be happy. We can really never be whatever. But again, you can accept that, but you don't need to accept it. So this video is about maybe just don't accept it. Like when you see this shit around the internet, someone's basically trying to turn you into an emo or like a doomer or whatever. Here's the thing, okay? We all probably remember a time, most of us, from our childhood in which things were pretty good. Life seemed to be pretty good. We were pretty glad to be alive. And, you know, for a lot of us, somewhere along the lines, that changed, especially if we experienced some trauma. That's okay. That is not the same as living in hell. And what I'm going to tell you now is the most important part, that the living in hell part is an overlay over that. So if you can think back to when you really just enjoyed things, enjoyed your life, assuming you don't always enjoy it now, which again is normal. If you can think back to that time, you can always get back there. Now people are going to challenge me on this because they're going to say, well, when I was a kid, I didn't have all these responsibilities. I didn't have to do all this stuff, right? Or did you? Think back and look really at what the state of a kid's life is. They get fed whatever they're going to get fed. They're forced to go to school. They're forced to brush their teeth, etc. They're forced to just everything. They're forced to do everything. And then they get to go and hang out in their room and play video games. That's great, right? But that just means that then they're forced to amuse themselves, right? Which again, from your modern perspective, it's like, oh, is that such a good thing? I don't know, I'm scrolling, like I can't fucking zone in, I can't enjoy anything. So the kid was in the same boat, but the kid didn't have the overlay of cynicism, of adult bullshit. And that is enough to give them the edge to just enjoy life because they don't have that affectation constantly hanging over their head. So that's what I really want you to embody if you can. That's what I'm trying to do all the time. And again, you can say, oh, well, you have a blessed life, or you have the mental faculties to enjoy yourself and I don't because I'm depressed, etc. You'll have to just take my word for it that I have been through hell and mental hell. And it's something that Zen masters and people who really see the world the way that it is, in my opinion, have been saying since nearly the dawn of time, which is that hell is not real. It's something that you participate in. And so when someone is saying to you on the internet or anywhere that we're in hell, or they're implying that you're in hell, they're inviting you to participate in that belief. And so the whole concept of this video, and I'm going to leave it here, is you can decline that. You can decline to believe that you're in hell, and you'll cease to be in it. And I know that's easier said than done, but that's the mission. All right, lots of love. I'll see you next time.